Let's zoom out of Ukraine now, because these changes don't just affect one country, they're reshaping our world. Let's start with a short history lesson. In 1991, the Soviet Union collapsed. Until then, our world order was bipolar in nature. You had two powers carving up the world. You had the US and the USSR, or the Soviet Union. After 1991, only one of them remained, the United States. We entered the era of unipolarity. The Americans did virtually whatever they wanted. They bombed Yugoslavia, they invaded and occupied Iraq, they invaded and occupied Afghanistan, and they reshaped global institutions. You could question the Americans, but you could not stop them. Now, even that order is changing. Under Donald Trump, the US is losing interest in the world. Its allies are becoming rivals. Its long-term enemies are becoming partners, and those on the sidelines are confused. They're not sure what this emerging order really stands for. Is it multipolar? Does it even have any poles? And if so, who are they? What are these poles? Let's look at the changes in America first. Donald Trump has already withdrawn from multiple global agencies, like the World Health Organization, the Paris Climate Accords, and the UN Human Rights Agency. He's pulled out of all of these, but he's not done yet. Trump's allies are pitching an even bigger walkout. They want him to pull out of the United Nations and NATO. They want America to pull out of the UN and NATO, and guess who supports this idea? Trump's first buddy, Elon Musk. Musk agrees that America must pull out of NATO and the UN, which raises two questions. One, can he do that? And two, what would be the fallout? On NATO, it's quite clear. US laws require two-thirds congressional majority to leave NATO, but some experts say this law is not airtight, meaning Donald Trump can leave if he wants to. But chances are he will be challenged in court. On the United Nations, leaving is not an option. The United Nations Charter was not designed for countries to exit. If you violate it, you can be expelled. But leaving is not in the bylaws. Of course, Trump could simply stop showing up, basically not send officials or envoys to any UN agency or meeting. Which brings us to the second question. What would be the impact of all of this? NATO would almost immediately become useless. America's military budget is more than double of all other NATO allies combined. So no America equals no NATO. Vladimir Putin would absolutely love that. He's been opposing NATO expansion for years. As for the United Nations, China will be more happy than Russia. They have consistently tried to hijack UN agencies and laws.